Welcome, everyone. So glad you're here. Give me a moment. I'm getting this set up. And, all right, let's rock and roll. I appreciate everyone being here. And so, um, I really want to stress, the appointments. Uh, I think that they're really good for people, and they're good for me to help me to learn, what's being expressed in the appointment as well. So if you can, please take advantage of them. I do them either, it's not in person, obviously, and I do them either FaceTime or telephone call or Zoom, whatever your preference is fine with me. Uh, well worth your while. The way they've been going is just incredible. Sometimes I'll be able to see things and help people understand what's created their situation. And sometimes their situation isn't from anything of a past event. And, it's just something that happens with us or something we're born into and later acts out in our lives. And it's really no different than times we have an accident. It's not God's fault. It's not universe's fault or source's fault. We're just at the wrong place at the wrong time, or someone else's, and we're not. And that someone else is, either drunk or on drugs or something like that, or does something, has a neurological spasm, and they do something to affect a lot of people, and we're there by chance. And it has nothing to do with, feeling guilty, and I'll talk more about that in a little bit, uh, or affecting us that we have to take claim of something, or that we're not doing something spiritually in our lives. So, things happen. So, uh, and sometimes I'll be able to perceive of these things in appointments, or often I'm not sure which. And most people tell me that something in their life has changed, and that's all that really matters. And that leads into either immediately or in graduated steps, um, in what we think are baby steps, but they're really huge steps of healing. And that's what happens. And then we also find that we're either stabilized in our situation, or and it won't affect us, in a detrimental way, or the situation goes, something that's been created in our body. And these things happen. And that's just, the way it really is, in my perspective of things. The world according to Garth Mark, as I always say. Boy, I'm going to be drinking a lot of water tonight. All right. And again, Lynn and I will be talking about classes and workshops and other things tomorrow, and then we'll be announcing them within the next day or two. So it's going to take time for Lynn to put it up. Hopefully, within a day or two, it'll all be up, and things that we talked about, etc. And so, let me see here. Get to the questions. We have free classes. We have mini classes that are free and open to everyone um, uh, through Zoom. We also have that I'll be announcing on this page, and we also have what you call the gathering like we're having now, where I give answer questions. I talk a little bit about stuff. Hopefully, not too much of a diatribe, and if I am in a real big diatribe, say, "Hey, Mark, hello, we're here," and then I'll stop, unless it's really interesting and you want to hear more of it. But regardless, um, I will, in this gathering, I'll talk about things and I'll answer questions. And at the very end, I'll give a really, really short meditation, but it'll be according to the mind of the group. And so that's the way I like to do things. And every story that I talk a lot about stories of my experiences, and that's exactly what they are. They're my experience. And very rarely will I ever give a quote from something else or talk about something else that someone else has. It all comes from within me, and I prefer it that way. This way, I'm not plagiarizing. And besides that, I get to express what I believe with all my heart that this thing inside is expressing, which is the message. And so we also have, besides the gathering and the mini class, we have a healing circle every other week. The gathering is every week, but the healing circle is every other week. And same with the mini classes, they'll be every other week as well as we get those more organized. But I need everyone's input, please, on classes that they would like me to present. Either the free classes, the mini classes, or actual workshops. And if you can give me ideas, either shooting me an email or shooting Lynn an email, or if Lynn, you can put your email down, that would be great. The email for us, and that you would get it, and then Lynn can forward it to me, maybe clean it up a little bit if it needs it, and then we'll talk about it. Lynn and I will talk about the presentation of either putting it in a mini class or a course work. And the courses are just fantastic. People take 2 courses or 3 courses or 20 courses of the same course, and they're all different. Some basics that are always going to be the same, but they're all different, and they go with the mind of the group. They're just incredible. And so that's basically it. And please, again, the last time I'll mention this tonight is the Facebook page, Spiritual Matters with Mark Ehrlichs. As of September 1st, we're going to do our darndest to take it off Facebook. We're going to keep Spiritual Healing with Mark Ehrlichs and my personal page, Mark Ehrlichs. And there's a lot of people, there's about 2,500 people we're trying to notify on that other page, but Facebook won't send it out to everyone when comments are on. So everything again will be announced on the website, markehrlichs.com. So other than that, I really want to thank the new people that are joining our group. I'm totally honored that you chose to be here. And there's in the near future, there's going to be a lot more interaction and with everyone. And I started off doing it, but now I've had to slack off because of a lot of things were interjecting in that. Now we can get back on track soon. Now I'm almost finished with these other things. I had and if you have any questions that I can try to answer once I'm finished with all these questions or comments or in between them, and sometimes I'll work with people here. If there's any questions, put them in the column there on the left. And if I don't catch them this time, I'll catch them next time. So please feel free to do that, and I'll do my darndest, to answer everything I can. And there was a woman that, let me see if I can find it here. There was a woman that wrote me yesterday, and a really lovely note, and I'm really grateful for it. And I wish more people would give responses of testimonials of a before and after. It could be real short or it could be long, whatever you want, I don't care. And I may tweak it a little bit as far as, if there's a word correction or something like that, or a period that goes somewhere, or a comma, whatever, and I'll put stuff like that in. And or if it was personalized, I'll take out a specific exercise that I gave you and give a generalized statement about that exercise. So in any case, she wrote, this lovely woman, she wrote, I was diagnosed with, I don't know how to pronounce this, ankylosing spondylosis. It's an inflammatory arthritis of the spine in 2018. And that resulted in severe stiffness, pain, lack of mobility in my lower spine. The pain woke me up at night several times a week. The most distressful part of my day was getting up in the morning and getting up after sitting in the same position for as little as 30 minutes. At those times, I stood slowly with much pain and couldn't straighten for as long as 50 minutes in the morning and 5 to 10 minutes each time during the day. Every time that she had gotten up. I had a virtual healing on I had a virtual healing on my back from Mark and felt less stiff immediately when he finished, thank God. I experienced an emotional release as well during his healing as well. Mark asked that several times a day I visualize something happening to my spine. And I have done this every day. And it only takes minutes, or excuse me, less than a minute even, as you develop into this according to the needs of each person. It'll change. And it's not often that I give that exercise. So, and I have done this several times a day. As the day progressed after my session, I was aware that I was able to stand straight from from a sitting position without pain. The next morning, I sat up in bed and stood slowly to find myself standing straight and without pain. I still experience stiffness in my lower back and a mild discomfort occasionally. When this happens, I go back to that exercise. And again, thank you from my heart. And she signed it. So I think that's awesome. And in any case, my friend Kathy, and please feel free if anyone has questions. Oh, here, I can scroll down and see people's comments. Hey, Prachi, hey, how you doing? I didn't even know you were here. This is hilarious. See how fluent I am in technology? And Patty, yay, good to see you. And let's see, Kim, oh my gosh, hi, Kim. Good to see you here. Thanks for being here so much. I appreciate it. And Stephen, you guys rock, all of y'all. And Lynn wrote, my daughter said that you straightened her back when you were working on her regarding back head pain. Yes. And that happens as an effect. It's as bizarre as it seems on either telephone or Zoom or FaceTime. When I'm working with a person, I am actually there. I'm actually with that person, and I'll feel things. They'll feel things. I'll see things. They might have understandings. I'm not sure all the time, but there's definitely a presence there that is just so remarkable, and it blows me away every time. And it's been happening ever since maybe after a month I started, or 4 months after I went into my order. It all started with the projection of the consciousness. And so, hey, Mariko, hey, good to see you. Hey, Mariko, she's going to Montreal. She's in Japan now, but she has many friends in Montreal. And I'm always thinking about visiting Canada. Hey, that'd be awesome. And maybe, well, you're a vegetarian or vegan, one or the other, and I think, I don't know if Lynn is, but, or she can feed you if you go visit her. Lion Gate, it's, I don't know. I don't want to talk about Lion Gate. So I don't understand a lot of these things they're coming up with, even though they're repeats of things that have been conscious since the beginning of New Thought. Since the middle 1800s. So in any case, I'm happy you're doing good, Parichi. I'm really happy. Thank you for being here. I do appreciate that. So, in any case, let's see here. So, Kathy, my friend, she has a question, comment, and it's about judgment. And looking at judgment, she wrote, when I judge someone else, is it because of an awareness about that person? I think that's an awesome question, and we all deal with this. No, it's not about another person. It's really about us, and most often, and it's something we see, that feels awkward or rubs us the wrong way about them. And that's really what we also have infallibility to within ourselves. It's really no different uh, with the people we admire, and say, the people that we admire, uh, we're definitely, having uh, admirations for them of things that are yet to be discovered about ourselves. It's the same thing with the judgment thing about another person. It's really judgment about us, and things that we don't see yet, or want to see sometimes. And I've been through this too, been there, done that. And so the things that I dislike about another person, or I feel awkward about another person, or I want nothing to do with another person, they're things of those things that are about us. And that's just the way, how we're here to respond to those things. And either by not accepting, walking away, knowing it's not a part of our life, or if we find a faux pas in someone else, and we don't have to participate in that, knowing that either we worked it out and we don't have to participate in it anymore, or observing, and when they're in interaction with others or facing us, we don't have to participate in something destructive. And so as we do that, though, we're affecting ourselves. And that's what's most important. And but we only can do that in an objective, observant way, where there is no judgment. And the judgment is the resistance. That's all it gets down to. And please, if you all have an opportunity to replay this, please do. I'm most certain that there'll be things that you'll get out of this in other understandings. If you should replay it, it won't be the same as what's being said. You'll notice that. So, the things we admire about other people are the things about us, and the things that we dislike out of other people or feel awkward about other people, they're about us too. Our potentials, or what we have hidden inside of us, or personality aspects that we're just not jiving with. There's things about us that we're working with in our life or haven't been made conscious of yet. So please understand that. No judgment on yourself, ever, 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 ever. So, and also, my friend Kathy wrote, awareness is good, but so often instead of giving a blessing, I give a curse. I've been there, done that, in my life when I was younger and sometimes since. So I think that this is a great way for us to be in denial when we think that we're being aware, and but oftentimes we're either giving a blessing to someone, or giving a curse in our lives, saying "damn you," or whatever, "I don't like you," or "you're nasty," or whatever. I think this is a great way for us to be in denial, and a great way to continue being wrapped up and continue in a similar personality within ourselves. Please understand, or try to understand. And then she wrote, we would have a lot less pain in the world if we exchanged blessings for curse, question mark. Would we? We would have a lot, she's asking a question. We would have a lot less pain in the world if we exchanged blessings for curse? Thank you, Mark. Curious about many things but feel constrained. Well, I feel that the less we would be less constrained and freer as we see and express what we really see. There'll be a less of a constraint, and we'd be much freer to express ourselves. And the more we get to live, in our truth, that is always waiting and giving us an opportunity. It's a part of us. And so I think then that the pain that we feel would transform more into a compassion, And that's what we're striving to find within ourselves as we're having an experience of that compassion. You just can't say, "Oh, I want to be compassionate." As we're having an experience or a moment of that compassion, that's when um, uh, there's less pain, and the more we want to give. Uh, that's my answer. Um, so, in any case, uh, please, anyone have any comments or questions or anything anyone would like me to work with? I'd be more than happy to. Um, and so, uh, my friend um, Sue Gray, she wrote, "What is the role of self-forgiveness in healing?" Well, this is a biggie. And well, first of all, hi, Sue. Self-forgiveness, I believe, is everything. That's what opens the door for us. And then we're not judging ourselves, and we're not in the guilt of life, and we don't participate in these things. We just, and if we do, we're just worsening and or quickening our demise. So that's what happens when we're in non-self forgiveness. And it takes time to develop in that, in finding that self-love inside. And there we go. Hey, oh hi, Tamara. I'll finish what I was saying in a moment. But Tamara, please, how do you feel? Please feel free. Hey, Christina, good to see you here. Thanks for being here. Uh, yes, compassion is easier to offer, but difficult to offer to self. Then we're not really being compassionate to others, and we're at an imbalance, Brachi. We're at an imbalance if we're not able to blend into both worlds of forgiving, recognizing that as we're forgiving another, we're also forgiving ourselves in compassion, as we're feeling compassion, not only in forgiving, but feeling the compassion. It's trying to relate to people and how you want people to be to you, and or to be compassionate to you, and the love that you're seeking is the love that you're giving, and that's most important to understand. We have the ability of compassion waiting for us. It's that love that's so freely given to us, and experiencing it uh, in just half the way of in being, just easier to offer. It's not, the complete way, and it's learning to have that compassion for yourself, and at the same time knowing that you dwell within that divinity that loves you so unconditionally, and that's what we're looking for in our lives. And it shares with us, it gives to us, it helps us, it guides us, it directs us. It's always there, and you have it, and it's just finding that out to some degree. Uh, there's many a time that I too, when someone says, "Oh, thank you for the healing" and all this other stuff, that uh, I um, I don't want to always acknowledge it, even though I know uh, it's God and I give credit to God in every way. I don't want to acknowledge that I had anything to do with it, and that's an imbalance as well. And so it's learning to juggle that, to find that out within ourselves, and that's what we're doing in our lives, is working all these things out. And so, um, and I understand. I understand. So, uh, I want to get back to this. In the new age, we're born into. Uh, Many people participate in things that pertain to God's vengeance, or something that we did to bring on and initiate the demise that we're going through. It's not true. It's not true. I'm referring to what Sue had written, Sue Gray, about self-forgiveness and everything. And yes, it is a constant struggle, but it's learning to, Prachi, but it's also learning to, uh, you know, uh, release ourselves and to trust more of that divinity. And then the struggle gets lessened, but we don't always know that because um, we're always, we're born on this earth and we're always in struggle. But it doesn't have to be a difficult struggle. It could be easy and it could be flowing. And it's those times that we don't realize we're in a struggle, but everything is lovely. Everything is happening so beautifully and in perfect sync. And um, but it's still our opportunity at those times. The struggle is it's still in our opportunity at that time to remind ourselves and not be complacent in that so-called struggle, or even if we're not, conscious of it. So it's always giving ourselves to and expressing that, okay, God, you know, um, thanks for this, and everything's going beautifully, and I'm doing well. I have a nice home. I got plenty of money. I got, kids that are, doing great, and et cetera, et cetera. But um, don't stop there, because once you've had a taste of that and you stop it, that's when we become complacent. We have the availability to continue in that mind. And that's when things get easier and easier for longer and longer periods of time. So, back to, okay, tomorrow. I can't stay for a whole gathering today. I'll watch the second half. Oh, please do. Yes, please do. And so, uh, she wanted to know, what is the role of self-forgiveness and healing? And my answer basically is, self-forgiveness is everything, and that we're not judging ourselves. And so, nor during are we not only judging ourselves, we're not condemning ourselves, and we're not in that guilt. As we do participate in those things of the judgment, of the guilt, the worries, the fears, and condemnations, and everything like that, all we're doing is worsening and quickening our demise. And that's a no end street. It just doesn't get us anywhere. Uh, but it does contribute to the demise that we're in, and we eventually, over time, develop not only in those in the judgment of mental perception of what we might have witnessed or experienced or heard of or read or whatever, or someone told us. As we do experience those things, they leave a mental impression, and then over time they begin to form patterns, and that's what we want to recognize. Where do those patterns start? See, in this new age we're born into, many people participate in these things, uh, what they think is pertaining to God's vengeance or something that we did to bring on and initiate our demise that we're in now. And that's not true. Uh, God or Source or Creator or Nameless One, whatever you want to call it, Moses, Buddha, Muhammad, Yahweh, whatever, they didn't create these things. We're not everything, but the demises that we're experiencing in our life, they basically, are self-creations, our small self. Though many times we initiate our situations that lead later into our sicknesses, which is a whole different other topic that I'll get into in another time. So, self-forgiveness pertains to how we feel, say, awkward at times, and we let ourselves be unforgiving to our experiences, that can later turn into our disruptions mentally and then emotionally and then physiologically, like ulcers. Or even because with ulcers, we learn to, or not all ulcers, some are created by other reasons, but most ulcers, oftentimes I should say, are created through the intensity of our worry or our fears, and that develops within us. And later in life, we experience ulcers. But as soon as we can address the situations, then we begin to heal within. I've seen it many a time. Or there's a woman that came to me with a pseudo disease, and I just got through telling the story, and I think Sue's heard it before too. Is this woman named Kathy? She came to me, and I never saw her before. It was her appointment time, and she said, and she was at the door. I said, come on in," and she walked in, and I said, "Okay, what would you like me to try to help you with here?" And she says, "Well, I was at Pilates 3 days ago, and my teacher pointed to my foot and showed me that I had a club foot. And I'd never had a club foot in my life." I said, "Does it hurt?" She says, "No." I said, "Okay, let's work. Let's see what we can do, and if we can come up with something." And so she's standing there, and I'm scanning her. I got down, and I saw her as a five. Here, this woman is 37 or 42 years of age, and then she and I saw her at the age of 5, and at the age of 5, I believe it was 5 or 4, something like that. She was on her grandmother's lap. Her grandmother was a very large woman, heavy woman, and she was sitting in an old armchair, red chair, and I described, I saw the colors and the design of the chair. I saw what Kathy looked like and the color of her hair back then, and I saw her grandmother, what she looked like, the dress and everything. And it was a darkened room, or semi-dark, and she was just loving and loving and loving her grandmother so much, and her grandmother loved her in return just so deeply. And so her grandmother was just holding her as she was sitting in her lap and just loving on her. And then all of a sudden in the corner I saw a pole. It was a metal pole, and the pole had a cuff on it. And I said, "I got it." And she said, "What?" She was startled. And I stood up and I said, and I described everything to her, and I said that her grandmother had polio. And because it was a polio cuff with a pole on it that they used to use in the old days, in the 50s and stuff. And so she said, "I remember that. I loved her so much." And she also says, "I also remember wanting this disease for my grandmother so that she wouldn't have it and have to die or suffer." And so she saw it all. She watched it objectively. And then her club foot went from like this to like this. And it was no longer. And so, I mean, she had been to a doctor. They couldn't understand what it was. And they asked her if she ever had polio. And she told the doctor no. So this was it. So we get to, create these things within us and create dynamics that affect us later in life. So that's my answer to things. In any case, let me see. I hope you enjoyed the story tomorrow before you leave. So Sue Cavis, my dear friend, she wrote, "I'll be listening to the replay. Scanning. Does the body give off energy emanations of past events?" I love the question. I love all these questions, really. Yes, the body does give off energy or emanations, energy as we call it, basically of past events. And I think this is a great question. And that's how basically I know things at times, not all the time, but at times while in a group, working with a group, or working with others on the either telephone or FaceTime even, or Zoom. And it's a part of the emanation through the words of their feelings. I don't know how to express it. It's a part of the emanation of the words of their feelings, also the emotions, and also besides those, the body asking for help. So they'll carry pictures, and those are the things that I can see. And basically, and I see it objectively. I see it observantly. I'm trained in this from within myself. I taught, excuse me, I teach what I've learned to do, and then I've had to learn it from within myself. And that's my place, is to share it with you. This is what I teach in all my classes, though I don't come right out and say it at all times. But it's in the message. And if you should review any of my classes, you'll see that at some point I'm teaching that aspect of healing. And so it is the, thanks, Prachi. I appreciate that, hon. And so, that's the point of it all, is to perceive. But in order to perceive, we have to trust. And it's learning, it's getting into that mind. And that's what I try to embed within people, is to learn that form of trust. And then our perceptions are opened even more and more and more over time. It's just not going to be overnight, in 15 minutes. It's progressive evolution that you're going through that literally will change your life. And that's what these things are for. That's what the class is for. That's what this is for. That's what the mini free classes are for. That's what the healing circles are for. That's what the gathering is for. So, and the appointments, that's what they're for, is to open to those things. Excuse me. And so, Sue also wrote, how does it work that you heal while you scan? Great question. And I'm an open book with y'all, as time permits in our work together and doing these things. How does it work that you can heal while you scan? Again, I trust. And there's really no more than that. And as we can learn to let go of our little self for a moment, this is basically what gives us room for us to develop a relationship with the other self, with the capital S. And that's within us. It's there 24/7, always guiding, always directing. It's always there for us in every way. And the purpose of its guidance and direction is to help us to get to know ourselves. No other reason why we keep coming back again and again and again in what people refer to as reincarnation. That's the whole purpose of it, is to get to know ourselves. There's no other rhyme or reason without it, without getting to know ourselves. And so this is what we're striving for in our life. And it's a blending of both worlds, of earth life and heaven life, whatever you want to call either one. And this is the, I believe, the truer spiritual person that we're developing into. And I always say, show me the perfect person, I'll follow them anywhere. And people can talk for 5 minutes and then they can go back to being themselves, or when they're alone with themselves. We can see these things too in people, besides the presentation they're trying to give us. But we'll see a truer person when the words and the emanations that come out of them are real. You'll know that. And because not only does it pertain to them, they're talking about you. Regardless of who they're talking about or the situations, they're talking about themselves, and they're talking about you, or else they wouldn't be relating to that in the first place, or expressing whatever they are. And their actions have to be there. And so we can see these emanations. They're a part of us. And it's coming from ourself when we're being true to ourselves. And it's being true to us. It never isn't. But we're the ones who want to escape it and go back into the world because we're afraid. And so And then we have moments again of so-called spiritual experience. And so I hope that makes sense, people. I really, really do. And then Sue wrote, how does intention and concentration relate to God or source's healing while scanning? How does intention and concentration relate? Well, Angel Wings Mind, you rock. You do. All you guys do. Thank you so much. How does intention and concentration relate to God's or source's healing while scanning? Well, I think that, let me look at this question again. How does intention and concentration? Because we're maintaining a focus of a reality, not being part of the world that the world wants us to be in, so that we won't recognize that divinity within. We're maintaining a focus and intent. And I know within myself that the divinity is doing it all. The godliness is doing it all. The light is doing it all. The angelics are doing it all. In whatever form, the old man or woman upstairs wants to present it. They're doing it all. It's doing it all through our ability to focus, but focusing in joy and in that compassion that we were initially talking about, the need for that other person to feel better, to have a more productive life. That's what we're striving to give, and as we give it, it happens within us. And again, I'll mention one of my fears is to acknowledge it within me, but I know it's there. I know it's happening, but I don't want to acknowledge it because I think that in some way I'm going to, that's my curse of it. I'm acknowledging it and I'm going to fall out of it. It's not really true, but as we give it, the more comes to us, and we find that out in our lives. And please, also, if you see these things on a YouTube channel, this will be posted in, Lynn will post this on YouTube in not too long, or the website will go to, if you see it on the website, after Lynn puts it on there, then it will go to YouTube, I believe. And then make a comment, because Google loves it. The analytics, they love it. It will try to boost me up a little bit more. And before we go on any further, I want to mention, it's getting near the end here, before we do a little meditation. Please, don't forget to go to the website, and on the front page is a place where you can contribute and give. Please feel free to do that. It helps others. People that can't afford an appointment or a class or something like that, that really have a calling for this stuff, and to try to understand and help themselves. And so, please, and it helps us to keep going too. And so please don't forget that. So, any other questions or comments, please, from anyone? Please say your piece before we finish here with the really short meditation. Anything. And please, anything, anyone. All right. Anyone would like me to work with them real briefly? Real quickly, please, anyone, type it out, and if there's anyone would like me to work with them, I would be more than happy to. That's what this time is also for. So please, I know there's a delay on my part in seeing what people type. Is there anyone here who would like me to do one thing with them in working with them? I'd be more than happy. I'd be ecstatic if you allow me to. I can't give you angel wings, Kathy, but I grab them myself and run. Mark, can you look at my friend's daughter, Christine, who caught COVID? She was desperately ill uh, in the hospital. She is left with neurological problems, and it also damaged her thyroid gland. They're waiting for test results to indicate uh, to what extent. I can gladly, I would be more than happy, but please do keep me updated in a couple days about her. I'd really appreciate that. Tomorrow would be too soon, but in a couple days, Lynn. And she COVID, desperately ill in the hospital. She is left with neurological problems and thyroid damaged, thyroid gland damaged. Okay. Uh, I know that her um, uh, her whole consciousness has changed, and now, I mean, not in a bad way, but her consciousness has changed, um, and I don't know how to express this, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow when we talk, but that uh, it's almost like uh, she's becoming cleaner and clearer inside her consciousness. And so this will help her not only, that's what the disease was, just a crazy thing inside of her. And it affected her in a crazy way with the neurological and the thyroid and everything else. And, but she's changed now and it's a different consciousness and uh, it'll be pleasing in the long run. It'll be simpler in her life as well. And that's what I know right now. And people will find that out. Um, that's what was shown to me, so I trust it. So, all right, Lynn. Um, and we'll talk tomorrow about that. All right. Real quickly here. Christina, you would love a Roto-Rooter. In the old days in Chicago, that's what we used to call it, Roto-Rooter. And so it's like Roto-Rooter going in and cleaning out everything. So, but not in a dramatic way, Christina. All right, you got it. And I also pictured you just now clear and cleaner and laughing. So we'll see. All righty. Um, let's see. Um, please, anything that I can answer in the last couple minutes before we do a little meditation. Anything, please. Anything. All right. All right. Well, I say what I'd like to do is have you just close your eyes and sit back. And please take advantage of this. It's only a minute or two, and no one's looking and or disturbing you. And just listen to me for a moment or two, and nothing to hide from anyone else. You're alone in your mind. That's all that matters. And just sit back and relax for a moment, and uh, just you know, if you can, recognize that uh, there inside of you is such a thing. You may not find it easy to see it or to perceive of it, but if you can not pretend and not fantasize, but to imagine, just image in action, that there's this thing inside of you that loves you deeply. Nothing else matters. Nothing else matters. Let it love you. It might be scary, but let it love you. Let it fill your heart, your mind. Don't analyze it, critique it, think about it. Just let it happen. Let it love you. And it carries a joy. Just enjoy it. Let it love you. Let it saturate you. Just experience it for a moment. That's all. All right, everyone. Open up your eyes. And I'm going to post this really shortly, within a minute or two. And we'll get it up in the Facebook group. I really want to thank you. And Steve will appreciate that too. Yes. Prachi, my mom is suffering from rheumatoid arthritis. I'd have to, I can't do it now, Prachi, I'm so sorry. And if I could, I would love to, have an appointment with her. Tired. But I would love to work with her as well. In any case, blessings to everyone. We got to go. And even though we have 2 minutes left, what I can do, Prachi, is thank you, Kim. I appreciate it. Everyone, please, if you could put hashtag #YouRock, even when you see the replay of this on Facebook, as I posted in a minute or two, then put hashtag replay if you should see it. I'd be honored. And if you want to hear a different understanding of what I've said, replay it, you will. So what I'd like to do, Prachi, real quickly is ask a blessing on your mom. Okay. Blessings to everyone. And please, if you've had an experience with me, please email me or text me. And I want to use these. I got to start getting some. Again, I haven't asked for a long, long time, but I need experiences that people have had a before and after. And then I won't use your name if you don't want me to. I'm fine with that. And so please feel free to do that. Blessings to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to repost this in about 2 minutes. Bye, everyone.